It started like a tragedy. But what came next was pure manipulation. She cried on camera. She begged for support. She asked a true crime influencer to cover her tragedy. She even used hashtags like #justice and #RIPMom. But behind the likes and the filters, she was hiding a deadly secret. She was the killer. This is the twisted story of Sarah Grace Patrick, a 17-year-old girl from Georgia who didn't just kill her own mother and stepfather. She also tried to turn their murder into sympathy and social media clout. The case would shock a quiet Southern community, unsettle millions online, and raise disturbing questions about youth, fame, and what happens when social media becomes part of the crime. It began in Coweta County, Georgia, a quiet, suburban place not known for violent crime. On July 9, 2025, authorities received a chilling 911 call. Two people, a married couple in their 40s, were found dead in their own home. Both had been shot in what police described as deliberate execution-style killings. When law enforcement arrived at the scene, the daughter, 17-year-old Sarah Grace Patrick, was present, visibly shaken. She cried. She stammered through her statements. She claimed she had found them like that and didn't know what had happened. On the surface, she appeared to be a devastated teenager, the surviving child of a horrific tragedy. But within minutes, detectives noticed something off. Sarah's answers weren't lining up. She kept contradicting herself. Her emotional reactions felt rehearsed. There was no sign of forced entry, no robbery, no missing valuables, no sign of another suspect. And yet, Sarah insisted that someone else must have done it. Her parents, Amy and Matthew Patrick, were well known in the community. Amy was a middle school teacher, warm, passionate, involved in her students' lives. Matthew worked in financial services. He was quiet but dependable, a father figure to Sarah since she was a little girl. Those who knew the family said they seemed normal, loving, stable. But police were beginning to learn a very different truth behind closed doors. After the initial police interview, Sarah was not arrested. She was allowed to return home with relatives, but police kept a close eye. What they discovered next would change everything. In the hours and days that followed, Sarah didn't grieve privately. She didn't retreat from the spotlight. Instead, she leaned into it online. She posted TikToks, one showing her looking into the camera with tears in her eyes and sad music playing in the background. She captioned it with, "I lost everything, broken heart." In another video, she asked her followers to please pray for me and talked vaguely about how she was trying to stay strong. And then came the most disturbing part. Sarah reached out to a well-known true crime TikTok influencer. She sent them a direct message saying, "I really think my story should be told. Maybe it could help someone. Could you make a video about it?" To millions of viewers, she appeared to be a heartbroken girl trying to find support in a cruel world. But to investigators, this was starting to look like something else entirely. They pulled her phone data. The GPS showed she hadn't been where she said she was on the night of the murder. Her phone searches were even more chilling. In the weeks before the killings, she had searched for things like how to make a murder look like an accident, how long do you go to jail for killing your parents, juvenile murder sentencing in Georgia, how to cry convincingly on camera. She had also researched gun safes, specifically how to open the one in her stepfather's office. Turns out, Sarah knew the code. She had access the entire time. The murder weapon was eventually traced back to that very safe. There were no fingerprints on it, but they were on the box it was stored in. Hers. Police also uncovered a journal hidden in her room. Inside were emotional rants about feeling controlled, angry, and invisible. Pages filled with resentment. One chilling line read, "If I do it, at least people will finally hear me." On July 11th, 2025, 2 days after the murders, Sarah Grace Patrick was arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. The same girl who begged TikTok to tell her story was now the story. She didn't resist arrest. She didn't cry. She didn't say much at all. In the courtroom, the community stared at her in disbelief. Teachers who had taught her, friend of the family, classmates, no one could believe the soft-spoken teenager in front of them was capable of such horror, let alone the digital deception that followed. Prosecutors laid out the facts clearly. Premeditation, access to the weapon, search history, lies, manipulation, TikToks, and perhaps most disturbing, no real sign of remorse. Her defense team quickly hinted they would pursue a mental health defense. They spoke about a troubled home, emotional abuse, deep trauma, but for many watching, those possibilities couldn't erase the coldness of her actions or the videos she posted after the killings. Even the influencer she contacted released a statement. She played me. She played all of us. I thought I was helping a grieving teen. Now I realize I helped boost a murderer. Sarah is currently being held without bail in a youth detention facility in Georgia. Due to the nature of the crime, prosecutors are seeking to have her tried as an adult. If convicted, she could face life in prison. This story has ignited fierce public debate about teen violence, trauma, and the growing obsession with viral attention. It forces us to ask, can someone be so desperate to be seen that they're willing to kill for it? What happens when murder becomes content? And in a world that rewards performative pain with views, likes, and sympathy, how do we separate real grief from calculated manipulation? One thing is certain. Amy and Matthew Patrick are gone. 2 lives taken, 2 futures stolen. Not by a stranger, but by the girl they raised. They didn't deserve this. And the world deserves to know the truth. Because in this age of social media justice, what happens when a killer doesn't hide from the spotlight, but runs toward it? Was Sarah Grace Patrick broken, or was she cold and calculated? Was this a cry for help, or a performance meant to deceive? We want to hear what you think. Let us know in the comments section. Was Sarah a victim of trauma, or a manipulator playing victim?